Are you still alive? Because we will practice. Okay, so I'm here because of this book. This book is wrote by my mentor, Phil Gadzinski, and our colleague, Tony Ponton. And it is about governance agility, of course, and about this thing. Do you know how this thing is called? I know that someone knows. It's a stanchion. A stanchion is a thing like this that you can see at the airport or in the cinema or when you have a concert and a lot of people. So you put a stanchion, and another one, and there is a clear path to your goal. Here is the ticket booth. And the people are going like this, and like this. And do you know what it is? Where it is, maybe? Sorry? This is airport, that's correct. This is Vietnam, like this, and it's Phu Quoc, yeah. So this is Phu Quoc, Vietnam, and it was very chaotic situation. And people were pushing and shouting and trying to get to their desk, including yours truly, and there were no stanchions. So we had at least 3 lines to the one desk, and I was almost late for my flight. And this is when I realized that we very often have the same situation in our organizations. We are staying in the same lines or different lines for different purposes, communicating to each other accidentally, trying to get the purpose on time, but there are no stanchions. That's why in this book, it is a concept. It's not a framework, relax. It's a concept, how we can try to visualize, conceptualize a stanchion that is needed to structurize our organization. How we need it to make our thinking about the organization easier, better, toward the purpose. And here it comes the difficult word, because I will not try to clarify what agility is to such a group of professionals, of course, and also Nick did an amazing job this morning clarifying about the purpose and quoting the most popular framework. So you know this. But how about governance? Can you think about the one word that means governance to you? And can you scan the QR code, and Łukasz will show us how it looks in our combined mind. So you need to scan this code. There is no AI here. It's just manual work. Also no phishing, no monitoring your practices, your shopping, and so ever. But I would like to understand, how aligned are we? Are we thinking the same? Or maybe something totally different? Because we are thinking differently about the same governance in our organization, that is a problem. That might be a tension. And maybe then it will be easier for me to clarify why the concept of stanchion was so aha moment for me. So it could be boundaries, direction, ład korporacyjny, very nice. But after dobry ład, you know, better ład, it's some connotation we don't like. Guidelines, rules, discipline, taking care, oh, that is lovely. Boundaries, management, set of rules, structure, oversight of alignment. Oh, I would like to have this conversation. Chaos, sometimes yes, power, clear, this and so. You can see. And just for a second, think, what is the governance in your organization? How do you think about it as agilists? How they are thinking about this as executives, and so on, and so on, and so on. Thank you, Łukasz. We can come back. So, you know, words matters. And we are in this book trying to conceptualize the governance as a dynamic between making a decision and delegation of making decision between actors and between the problems that we would like to resolve. It's not the 100% true, but it is a simplification that is helpful to try to navigate throughout the governance. And why it is important to navigate throughout the governance for agilities? Come on. Because the usual thing is when we are having a transformation, agile transformation, that we have a puzzle, which is agility. Scrum, Kanban, Safeless, whatever it is. And we have our traditional approach to governance, right? And this is the puzzle from the different set. And guess no, it's not fitting. We have different roles. We have different events, artifacts, communication channels, and so on and so on. So what we are usually doing, we are usually taking our agility and we are pushing. We are trying to push it into existing system. And usually it is not working. So the idea here is to do it the other way around. The idea is here to recognize the governance as it is and change it a little with understanding of the purpose of this change. And then look what happened. And change again. And ask for feedback. Sound the bell? Can you name this process? What's that? Looking, changing, asking, adjusting, inspecting, and adapting. It's agility. So what we can do, we can take our agility. We know that we are professionals. Yes, they need us. And we can approach the governance and change it into the situation that is the best for our context, for our business domain, for the people we have, talent we have, situation at the market, and the products we would like to be proud of. That's the idea. So let's go back to the airport. You know why we need stanchions, right? And we propose in the book 5 stanchions. And it is not like they are only 5. There are many of them probably, but we conceptualize those 5, and those 5 will be presented to you. The first of it, conductive leadership. Maybe you can remember a person, leader, who is just, talking with people, gathering them, clarifying the idea, and the world just is happening around him. The magic is happening, and he is seeing you, he's talking to you, and so on. Amazing leader by example, leader who sees, leader who can clarify the expectation, and so on. And also we can meet the another person, the person that will told you what to do, because he told you, and that's it. And there is no sparks. So I've met in my professional life both of them. So I really remember the situation from my work when the latter, the person that was telling me what to do, and then telling me a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to hear, in the way that I wasn't supposed to be treated. And then standing like this, I've realized I don't have to. I don't have to do these things. I don't have to hear these things. So I brought my resignation, and that was this story. And here is another story. Many years ago, over 30 years ago, I was singing in choir. The group of people that are singing, this is difficult to pronounce. And I was altos, so I wasn't the front row, I back row, simple parts and so on. But we had an amazing conductor. He was a true leader. And during the practice, he convinced us to practice all the parts. So we altos sing the sopranos and all of them and the other way around. And he said that is important because sometimes he even tried to run the song without a part of it. Sometimes, even when we have instrumental part, he take out the cello or the violin. It's like Spotify, So we altos, it's like backend developer, Our parts is like boom, 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 64 times. So that was the part for altos. And it was a concert when the conductor realized that the soprano lady, she was out of voice in the middle of performance. And we've just, this special movement of his brow, he let us know, altos, that we will sing the soprano part. And we did. I remember over 30 years. I remember. And it was because we were prepared for that. We were encouraged, we practiced that, we were ready for everything. And that's what might happen if you have a true leader running your organization. like a conductor. That's why they work. That's why the word conductive leadership. That's why, and there is another reason when you have two things and the conductor between is physically is taking energy from one to the another. So this is another explanation. And you can say, okay, blah, 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 nice story, very nice, but we need a prescription, we need a model, we need steps, we need to know how to start. Of course, here is the prescription. And as with every prescription, please remember that you may or may not need that. Maybe in your organization, conductive leadership thrive, and you don't need this. Then don't do this. Do this. And also, you can have a side effect, as it is for every medication, because if you overdose it, or you can use it with the wrong diagnosis, the effect will be totally different. But if you are in a situation that you don't know how the leadership is, how good it is in your organization, you can self-assess it. You can start the self-assessment from yourself because you probably is leading something, maybe not people, maybe a change in the process, maybe product. So try to self-assess yourself. Promote self-assessment of the leadership skill in your organization. Try to establish what are the policies, how we are aligned about the policies. What is the scope of responsibility for a team or for the professional? This is all the activities that the leadership should do and must do to help us to reach our purpose. And the latter is ongoing investment in development, not only in front-end, back-end, or mobile, also regarding leadership skills. So that's it. And let's start for ourselves. So can you practice with me? Can I have your attention here? So I want you to stand out, and take a ball like a conductor do, like this. And by doing this, think about the one thing that you can do to increase the level of conductive leadership in our organization. Thank you. You can see it. That's the first tension. Let's go to the another. This is sensible transparency. Please raise your hand if you would like to work in the organization which is transparent, as we Agilists would like to have it. Very good. I mean transparent, keep your hands up, please. I mean transparent, yes? So they will know everything about everything. Every time. Yeah, also, yeah, and this. So, you know, the transparency is a situation when everyone needs to know everything all the time is totally unreasonable. And we lack the clarification. What does it mean to be reasonable, transparent? One of the clarification I do like is that the person that needs to make a decision has all the knowledge needed to make the best decision right now, or very soon. So I need to have available the data I need to make my decision, and my manager, and my team, and so on. So I like the concept of bifurcation of knowledge when there is this not empty spot of the things that are happening close to the team that the executives and manager are aware of, and the other way around. There is not empty space of the things that executive team is doing and the teams are aware of. And this not empty space is reasonable transparency. Just this amount of knowledge that is feasible to have and to make decision based on that. And yeah, a prescription, right? Steps to follow. So for example, like this, why I am presenting those steps, because this is what we did practice. In few organizations, we tested those. So we visualized the systems, the roles, the processes, the tools. Because, you know, this is funny. What kind of Scrum you are doing? You know, the Scrum when we are starting with analysis and after 3 months we are going to, okay, this kind of Scrum, fine. We can call it differently, we can call it Scrum, whatever. But we need to nail it, align around it, how we understand it, why we agreed on this kind of process, of this kind of rules. And then we need data to make informed decision. And then we need to publish some information that all of the people needs to know and make it updated all the time. It's a cost. That's why it must be the minimum set of it. And that's a big effort to decide what's the set of the data that we need and to update it automatically, preferably. And then we can inspect and adapt continuously. Is it working? What we can do? We can ask people, we can look at the errors we made, we can try to find the core reason of that. If this is because the part of the organization is blind, because the part of the instruction is on the other part of the organization, let's move it. Or maybe let's destroy something that is blocking. Let's inspect it, and so on and so on. This is obvious for you. I know I'm talking about the obvious things, but still, as a concept, as a whole, as a governance, it's not happening across the organization. It's happening in IT or in my Scrum team, sometimes a little wider, but that's it. And we are talking about the organization. Are you ready for exercise? Yes, very good. So this one is like that. Take one hand and put second hand on the first one, like a book. And now please open it reasonably. Like not the whole, but this piece that is important for you and your team. Just this. Yeah, you got it. Perfect. Amazing group. Thank you. Ready for the first session? For the third one? Ready. Patterns of work. You can see, this moment when you can learn another pattern of work, when you have these building blocks, what is daily, what is this event, that event, artifacts, and exciting, right? And it's helping. So we have attention here again, because there are some things that are very helpful. So for example, daily stand up. Okay, it's a problem if it's not daily, it's happening only on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and we are sitting, but still, daily stand up. When we agreed that this is the moment of collaboration, when we are inspecting something, and then out of this meeting, we are aligning on the things that we realize are not aligned, that's very good. And because we had this agreement, we don't need to think where we meet and what will be discussed, because we agreed. Did we? Did we? Do you have a clear understanding of every event that is happening in your team? Like, why is that? What's the income? What's the output? What's the mechanism within it? If yes, my congratulations, you do not need that. Or maybe you can think about the wider concept. How about the team of teams? Or maybe you can think about the wider context. How about the organization? You have a maybe town hall. Why is that? What's the purpose of it? How often is it? Who is facilitating it? What's the input? What's the outcome? Is it any good? If not, are we gathering the feedback? What's in the feedback? How we can adjust to the feedback? And so on. So the patterns of work is about taking the smallest, the lightest possible agreement about a way of working and intentional changing it if this is too much or not enough. Then we can expect that flow will happen. Yeah, that's it. And of course, you can try some of the activities that were successful in my professional life, in Phil's professional lives, in Tony's professional life, because these are examples. And you know this, you have these tools, you just need to use it. If this is the stanchion you need to put, if you can see that your organization is struggling with the patterns of work, maybe not only engineering, maybe sales, or maybe lawyers, those people that are, having suits and sometimes they want something from definition of that, those people. So if you need it, you can try. If you don't, my congratulations, Your patterns of work are shining. I'm proud of you. Are you ready for a stretch, for an exercise? So patterns of work are all about the alignment to the agreed rhythm. And can I ask you to follow the rhythm? And let's see, is it easy enough to follow? Or maybe it's too complicated and I need to listen and adjust to it. It should be like this. Your patterns of work needs to be a heartbeat. The heartbeat that is helping. If this heartbeat is too much, you will have a stroke. The fourth, data. I am a mathematician, Ilonik, I like data. You know, Agata, that there are people that don't like data, and that's all right, because we need every skill, we need the diversity. Nevertheless, it's very important that we have data in our organization. And fortunately, you know, it's a thing in Agile community. We can see metrics here, metrics that, let's visualize like this, like that. We have the things like the amazing keynote this morning, so we can be better. We can understand why it is so easy to be disturbed by some visuals, why it is so easy sometimes to use the wrong metric, false metrics, or why it is so easy to get an insight that it's biased by the choice of metric. So it is an art, but the art that is based on very strong fundamental. So you need this discover data that you have in your organization. You need to clean it. You need to make it visible. Then you can make some insights and try to discuss it with the wider audience. And in so many places, I saw that the start is amazing. So we are looking for some data. And from the 100% of the data available, we are using 1%, maybe 2%. And then we are having insights based on the 2% of the data. So how good is that? Not good enough, right? And then so on, so on. We are improving based on the insights that are based on the percentage of data. And this is no success. So it's data problem. It is because the sample wasn't enough. And yet again, we have the tools, we have the skills, we just need to be consistent. We need to understand what we need to clean it, make it visible, make it clear, think what I see, talk to someone else, maybe someone else will see something else, visualize it, make some decision based on that, check, is it happening? You know, it's called like experiment. I have a hypothesis, then I'm testing it, and I can prove it or disprove it. And that's fine. If I disprove it, I've learned, and maybe I need the other data set, or maybe I will go into another hypothesis. So we know it. That's basic. That's fundamental. And we can start with ourselves. Any sample of the data you have an Agilist available from your team at the moment that gave you real significant insight last month? Anyone? Any insight based on the data in your team lately? Yeah, Agata. Very stressed.
My team is
Agata's teams were stressed, yes.
Agnieszka, whatever.
Agnieszka, sorry. Sorry, glasses, wrong glasses.
Was stressed, and I want to talk to my product owner, but I don't know how to prove it that it's really happening. This is what my observation.
Prove it.
And then I said, yeah, okay, let's have a look at the data. Maybe we can look at the work in progress. Let's have a look at it. And we just pull out the data, look at the work in progress run chart, and it was like stable, 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 and last few months going a little bit up. And I asked, wow, what happened here? Do you have more team members? Something, what has changed? And she said, yeah, actually here, someone left. So the team is smaller, but our work in progress grew, right? So we have more things in progress. We've got more pressure to deliver, and we are not able to finish. So you see, you've got your data, you've got kind of an explanation backed with the data, what really happened, right? So that was really a very nice story.
And that wasn't set up, I promise you.
No, it was spontaneous.
Bravo, thank you for your courage. So we need data and we need insights based on the data, and it's not easy for you. And I just need you to think about the sample of data you can gather and clean and make visible, or the insights you can seek from the data you have visible at the moment. During the small stretching exercise is when you are stretch your left arm and you are try to reach for something on the left, and then with right arm on the right. Come on, left. No data here, right? Okay, maybe we found something. Thank you very much. And the last one, you know, humanity. We are human beings, and we would like to be treated not like resources, but like, you know, people, right? And it is important to have courage to stand up when we see that someone is treating someone else like a resource. We need to have a courage as an agilist. We need to have the courage to stand up ourselves. We need to have integrity when we are talking about people and resources, people and processes over, to stand up for the people who are treating like the resources. And then we need to respect the others when they have other perspective, other data that we were seeking for, or just a worse day. And that's also very fundamental. And what we need to do, first, we need to trust in people. If we do not trust, it's very costly. Then we are gathering papers, evidence, and so on, so on. So we need to trust. It doesn't make sense to not trust people. And we need to invest in culture based on trust. And we need to encourage and enhance people to clarify their viewpoints, because sometimes there is a misunderstanding and I think I cannot trust the person, but I just don't understand him or her. And it happened for me so many times. So maybe it happens for you as well. So I'm asking you very kindly to think about the human as a cornerstone of everything we are doing, as a heart of everything that Agilist is doing. And we're thinking about that, and we're thinking how it is going in your organization. Is it a real cornerstone? Every change. Look on the right, you know, people are here on the right. And look on the left, people here. And maybe let's have later some conversation about this humanity. And is it really still a cornerstone of agility as it was meant? So wrapping up. You've just heard about the 5 stanchions. There are not rules, there are not policies, it is not a model, it is an invitation. An invitation to look at the leadership as something we do with care. It's about transparency that is reasonable. It is about patterns of work that are light and helpful. And it is about invitation to the looking at the data to reason based on this data, to make informed decision, not just for the sake of the data. And also the invitation to never ever forget about the human who is the heart of it all. And I will leave you with this. So which of those stanchions you can start to work with tomorrow? Thank you.